Hello, hello. How is my audio? Not hearing. I did. Okay. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. All good. I just started speaking. Yeah. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Just double checking. I want to make sure that you can hear me. Okay, me. Yeah, okay. Very good. All right, you guys. So let's I got an exciting live stream for you today. I'm going to show you the new changes in the money machine. You know, we're working so hard on it. I want to say again, I always root for getting, I mean, the big release is coming, but there was some couple of server things that had to be cleaned up. And so unfortunately, just with software, when you're at the cutting edge, it doesn't always, the timing is not always easy to predict. So just hope you guys are patient and understand. I want to bring something up. You know, there's quite a few people in this live stream today. And I want to make sure that we get down to basics. Okay. One of the things that I want to make sure that you understand that we are doing and why the money machine is doing what it's doing and working the way it's working is we want to make sure that you can trade all of these Holly signals in the money machine. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I want to bring up something that if you do not understand how difficult what I'm about to show you is to do, um, then it's well, hopefully this will demonstrate. So yesterday, our system gave you a buy signal for POLA. Okay, and I'm gonna see if I can find it alphabetically. Bear with me here for a second. Okay, there we go. So the buy signal was right here yesterday at 221 or so. And it went from 221 approximately 58% up to 370. And then subsequently pulled all the way back, and it's there right now. But I want to explain something very key. First of all, notice the big move, this pattern in stock trading, this right here, this happens all the time. So check this out. Right here, we are talking about 7:15. Okay. So somewhere between 7:15 and 8 a.m. Pacific time or 11 Eastern. So that would be like right here. The majority of the gains happened early. Okay. Do you guys understand this? Now that doesn't mean that some things keep going and they keep going all the time. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that in a second. But I'm saying this is your sweet spot. So 6:30 to 7:15 is 45 minutes. But again, it can go more. But a lot of times, and by the way, we're going to make a strategy that does this for you. You buy like after the like you buy right here, you know, or right here after the first 10 minutes, you sell hour into it, and you can even go short if it's possible. I mean, a lot of times there's no borrows for these. But this is the Pola trade from yesterday. Okay. And today we have NAMM. I want to show you the algorithm that caught it. And this is so for those of you that are not aware, Trade Ideas has not a back testing, but a forward hunting AI algorithmic system. We detect certain patterns in real time and we show them to you. And the one that caught NAMM is this one right here. So I'm going to show it to you. Right click, history, today. And Pepe specifically, I think you're really going to love this one because it's so simple and so powerful. I'm going to show you what it is, what it does. Um, okay, so let's see here. Let's take a look at some of these first of all. The first hit on NAMM happened here, 107. Our signal was at 115 because the signal has to have a little bit of confirmation and some other things that work in it. But right at the open, boom, this thing hit. Let's look at the configuration so you understand what I'm doing here. And I'm going to give this one to all of you, but I want you to understand the superpower. Pepe already knows it, but this is it's kind of simple. Standard deviation breakout. So a standard deviation is, I'm going to share the cloud in 1 second. A standard deviation is what is normal, and when something moves over a standard deviation, that's when it's a heads up. This is one of the most powerful mathematics, and it beats RSI, MACD, Kelt. Their Bollinger Bands are basically a type of standard deviation where he's like, instead of calling it a standard deviation band, I'll use my last name and call it a Bollinger Band. It's the same fucking thing. Excuse my French. All right. Windows specific filters. Notice the trigger, 25. So it's trading huge volume and has to have traded at least 1 million shares. Simple stuff. No other filters. Okay. So look at, I'm going to hide unused. Yeah. But this is the key right here. Max alert count 5. So I only want to see the first 5 instances of this so that I'm not catching it late. So that's how we get this. So let's look at it again. Let's look at it from the opening bell. Okay. 6:30. We first got a hit on BTG. So that's right at, this was a gap up, pulled back, and it's right there. And by the way, remember the pattern I showed you from Pola yesterday? Well, let me move this because this is a great example of everybody learning something that you can use forever in your life. Okay, so the difference is here, notice huge gap up and then this. Okay, so look at this. Boom. So this is you understand that we are trading against institutions, against Citadel, against market makers. They are taking the other side of your trade. So when a big wave hits, and they're trying to figure out where can they get borrows and all this other stuff. And, that's why I never trust the short float numbers. I'll be honest. I mean, that whole game is rigged. But notice this pattern, up and then sell, 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 sell. Okay. Let's go back to this. Up, sell, gaps up. This is exactly like that Pola pattern. This one gaps up, pulls back. You got another shot and had quite a bit of a move here. But the problem is, and this is why this doesn't come up on the AI, is the real move happened from here to here. That's 200, you're already talking about when the gap is given to you like this, it really makes it so that you are chasing. Gap. So by the way, let me show you guys something real quick. And let's go back to, so you know what the beauty here is, no gap. So watch this. Configure. I'm going to show you how we can resolve this gap. Add filter, max gap, and I'm going to say 10%. Just, you see what I'm saying? So, so I don't want to see something that's a huge gap up. So let's go back to history and today. Okay, so now we're going to go to BTG. So here again, oh, sorry. So here we are from 90. Let's see, did I get that gap? That's pretty decent, from 91 to 504. Okay, that fits there. Let me do something real quick. And again, I want to show you how I myself, did I not? Okay. Modify filter. Let's put it to 5%. Let's see if it still comes up. I don't think it will. It does. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to check on that. But again, so BTG still comes up. Rig. Okay. 420, 437. 12, 78, 13. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. AMD, obviously, huge. But here you go, NAMM. Okay. No gap. And it just continues. Something looks a little weird with our gap filter. Let me change that and see if it's working. And by the way, Steve Gomez, I know you're watching this. And this could be because I'm on the dev build, you guys. So just know that. Some of my stuff is a little tricky. Let's see if I put 1, that should eliminate a lot of those. And if not, then I'm running, there's just something up with my server. Okay, so that's doing something. So again, lots of playing around too. So sometimes when you want to try to see what's going on, this is a process that you go through. And I'm doing this manually to show you guys I'm backing into what I know I sort of want to see. Yeah, that looks, I think I might have hit the wrong, hold on. Configure, just bear with me, you guys. 2. And today, let's take a look. Rig 429 to 436 looks potentially right. I don't like what I'm seeing on the gap filter, but that's okay. That's not really the point, because that can all be adjusted after the afterwards. Let's go back to the idea that I don't want a gigantic gap. That's all I'm really saying. And here, NAM 104, NAM 107. So plug, this one. This one got you very similarly to the Pola yesterday. You see what they do, right? Boom. And then sell it off. You have to be prepared for that. Okay. This is why in this kind of momentum trading, you have to really be prepared to take profits very, very early, because the situations like NAMM, they happen. And notice again, so we are now up 79% on this AI call. But what I'm saying is a lot of times you have to be prepared. Okay. And in this particular case, if you notice here, I mean, you could have exited here and you're talking about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You have 45 minutes worth of kind of consolidation and then boom. So this is the window, big move catcher. And I'm going to go to save and share to the cloud. And I'm going to paste it in here. Somebody, please make sure that you put it in and let me know if the window came through and stuff like that. I want to make sure that it's working and that you were able to load it. Robert specifically, let me know. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying is the real value of trade ideas is to be able to trade these moves. And I'm going to move this out of the way here. Okay. Efficiently. And when it doesn't go your way, like here. So, I mean, I want to show you this great freaking example. Why do we have this red line? Do you see what I'm saying? So here, 57, after 5 cents, we got you out because we know our system studies the polar pattern, okay? Narrow 7, I'm reading what you're saying. Do me a favor, shoot an email to our people. So this is the icon you want, okay? That one might be a slightly different one because it's got both long and short, okay? Try this icon. Robert, great. I'm glad that it works. But I want to make sure you guys understand that we do a couple of things here. Of course, we're trying to get you in a trade that's up 94% in one day. Guys, I mean, are you going to see this at TradingView, at TrendSpider, at FinViz? Who else calls it? Nobody. And the reason you don't know about us is because we are not a VC pump animal, okay? Most fintech is not what you guys think. It's not organic. And you know, your friendly neighborhood fintech CEO, Dan Merkin here, I'm way down the rabbit hole in the conspiracy world, and I'm just trying to tell you guys honestly, the game doesn't want you to win. They don't want you to have access to this trade because if you do, then the narrative breaks. Then you realize, holy shit, I can make 86% here, lose 3% here, potentially. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why this. Here, lose 3% here, lose 3% here, be up a little over here, and still be up over 80%. It's tough for us when we have to market again against TradingView raised over $5 billion. They flooded everything. They've got the influencers, the Redditors. I mean, the game's funny, but it doesn't lend itself to you having the best tech. And by the way, we are totally redoing our user interface, and kind of that's the big thing for 2026. We're modernizing it, putting new tech out there, all sorts of things like that. But I want to show you guys something again that it's not one-offs, okay? And this is why I'm staying here because again, you're seeing this. There's nothing I can do. I'm not pretending. Here's the signal. Pull back to the signal. I mean, and you have 45 minutes to really get in here without fear, and then boom, okay? Not everything works, but think how much we saved you. from 151 to 123, that's a significant savings, by the way, significant. But let's look at this. Okay, this was a call in BNAI at 225, and this thing is at 8 right now. And this call was made on the 29th. Okay. Another example. I mean, it just continues and continues and continues. I'm going to give you, let's filter on longs because that's what we're working on here. Okay. And just so you see, again, I'm not saying it all totally works, by the way, but just want to show you some of the things. IDRX from 3 to 8, you know, and still after the big pullback up 79. We nailed Hycroft, and by the way, I'm in this thing at $4. Okay, 10,000 shares, and I've shown it to you many, many, many times. IQ, yes, and I'll show you the trade wave. By the way, we're contemplating maybe changing the trade wave name, possibly, because we're working on that algorithm as well. But just a heads up. Okay, so what do some of these look like? I just want to show you so that you understand the value of the premium and the fact that you can trade this on the money machine. 9 to 18. Okay, so this is what's up. Today, yesterday was Pola. If you are not using this tech, you're seriously behind. Okay, I want to show you guys a couple of things that, again, I'm up 4% for the month. You know, on the 6 months, 33. You know, so doing pretty well, all in all. I added a couple of things. Just want to show you what I've done here. USAR, I just added recently. Got 1,100 shares. And I added ABTC. I'm down 24 grand in that one. But again, 55,000 shares. I'm trying to position for another HYMC type move so that you know what I'm doing. A little bit of Exafor. And, you know, just these are my kind of what I call core positions, and I trade around them. But I just want to make sure you know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a person who puts his own money on the line. Yeah, I mean, Steve, AI is a piece of the puzzle. It's never the whole puzzle. Okay. Never, ever the whole puzzle. All right. So let me show you guys. I'm going to stop the money machine here. I'm going to get out of this. So notice we've changed some of this user interface. And I'm going to show you that here we've got, let's see. I might have deleted something, but on the other version that unfortunately I'm not logged into, you can have Holly Longs today and Holly Long 60 days, and it will trade the AI for you. Okay. Here we've added, for those that don't know, it's percentage stops. And again, you can modify this any way you want, but also a dollar amount, because when you're trading like dollar stocks, you know, 3% on a $1.10 stock or $1.20 stock, you just move around too much and you get stopped out. So here we have a minimum 15-cent move. That gives you some wiggle room. Okay, trailing stops. And all this stuff are things that you can modify yourself. And this thing is really key. This is actually not the right header, exit positions. It's basically an evaluation component, and I'm just going to show you how this all works once I turn it on. Okay, so I've got explosive winners here. Let's see what this is looking at. Okay. I'm going to make it a little wider here. And notice again, I'm using filters to work around the positions. I'm going to hit OK. Okay. And I'm going to go to Save Profile and let's run it. See what happens. And here we go. So we're in some things. And this is what the money machine does. It gets you into things and stops are set. And by the way, anything that you see here, you can always modify these stops. I believe I'm using approximately $2,500 here as an exposure component. So let's just see what we've got. So in essence, what I'm doing here, and this is a type of strategy, it's kind of like explosive winners, but you're buying the pullback. And so notice here, number one, you know what you're running. So we're working on a bunch of things at once, but one of the things that we're working on is improving the user interface. Okay, so now you know you're running explosive winners. If I want to stop it, I just come here. And I believe I have the ability to, if I auto manually add positions, it will trade those positions for me. Okay, so for example, this POLA that was in the works yesterday, I'll show you an example. I'm going to go to trade ticket and I'm going to add about 1,000 shares, actually 1,500 shares of this. And I'm going to hit buy now, hit OK. And here we are. And notice automatically I added and a stop has been set. So this thing moving against. But understand, right, that these types of moves, when you have a stock that's trading 250 times relative volume, one of the things that we're working on this, and Pepe, I think of all the people, you're going to appreciate what I'm saying. So we are tying this relative volume right now internally to position size and adjusting automatically some of these things. Why? Because in theory, if you're jumping into waves like this with 240 or 250 times normal volume, if your regular trade size is 2,500, and I didn't do it here, but roughly speaking, you would want to be in something like this, probably more like $500 worth, because it's just so volatile that the swings are going to be so huge. And again, in this particular case, like some of this, you can always automatically change it to whatever you like. So like these settings right here, like if you want to hard say, hey, I want to be in 2,500 and I want my stop to be whatever I want it to be, you know, then that's fine. By the way, I believe I had some reversals in here and got caught on that. Let me see if that happened. Yeah. bought, sold. So, okay, so that was a stop. And so this is a perfect example where the volatility is just so high. When you're trading at 249 times normal volume, you have to expect a lot of wiggle room. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to buy it again. Okay, but only 300 shares. And this is more along the lines of what I was talking before, where, I'm basically in $500 and I have way more wiggle room now compared to being in $2,500 of this trade. Oz, great question. So Oz said that he has a friend that purchased premium and he's mentoring them, but they are struggling. How can I share my strategies with them to give them some extra help? That is a great question. Here's how you do it. So you come over here. Well, first of all, you might want to walk him through some of this. So they would create a profile. Okay. So there's some in here. By the way, this is what I was saying before, 60 days of Holly Long. Okay, that's something that you can do. And that includes today's Holly. So you start here, and then you can take your strategy, Oz, and you can paste it into here. So I'll show you when I stop this. Okay. Oops. I'll show you when I stop this. Right now, when you're doing what you're doing, like I can't modify because I'm doing a run of this. So, but you can here, when you're not running it, you can paste your collaborate link. So take your strategy, paste the collaborate link, and show him all of your settings. And we're going to make it very soon so you can share all of these as well. But really, they are part of this profile. So all of this is being in the works, guys. I mean, you've kind of seen how all of this has been shaping up since we launched it. Remember that we've got, and I am running a dev build because I'm testing something right now, but we've got this stuff where you can use alerts, you can use races, you can use trade wave. And the trade wave is an additional assistant way to, let me put this in here, change the time frame real quick. So remember what I showed you, by the way, okay? And I've sort of said this many times, but because I run the money machine at 9 a.m. my time, so we go at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is arguably that's one of the most challenging times to initiate a position that you could ever so if you are an active, successful trader, the majority of your dough is going to be made early. Okay, it's this right here, GITS, boom, 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 boom. Look at this move, right? But 7:15 is when it peaked. So your first 45 minutes is your gigantic window. Now you're basically just you're hoping that there could be another run. Okay, you're hoping there could be another run. And NAMM did that. We got in here, it pulled back, and then it ran again. But this is where AI really comes into play, because we're specifically trying to find these, but a lot of times that does not happen. Okay, a lot of times it does not happen. And this part of the demo process, which I do here a lot, is that I start the money machine at arguably the most challenging time. So when I'm trading myself, you know that it's almost like you're doing a workout with a weight vest. So IQ, no, you have a different version because we have not released this. This is part of what the cool stuff that you guys come here for on the live stream, which is I'm always showcasing to you the latest stuff that we're putting out. So we're changing this user interface. There's a ton of stuff that's going on over here, including this. So, and those messages are going to be coming, I'm thinking, pretty soon here. But here we go, GITS. I mean, this is one of those things that, this looks tempting. So for example, you can come here and you can double. So notice that we have these things: double, half, flatten, reverse. Like the whole idea here is you're almost like a blackjack card counter, right? And because I got in, so notice here, this is this one. LXRX, tighten stop by 50%. I'm going to tighten stop by 50%. So you see, like, it's prompting you to engage. Tighten stop by 50%. So IQ, all this stuff, here I'm going to say do nothing. All of what you're saying is, remember, this live stream gives you access to kind of like completely under the hood stuff. Everything that you are asking for is actually on the web. So if you go to download, you can see what's available and what's open. I have versions that aren't available. I'm running a dev build here. Like you are literally under the hood of the General Lee. And I'm Cooter with my wrenches out, and I'm showing you things, and I'm exposing to you the fact that we are not shy about showing you how our tech works. And that even though I'm here doing I'm doing these live streams, I know that there's bugs and all sorts of stuff that you see. Ritman, so there was a couple of problems, so we had to kind of push it back out. So we now think, again, and I say this all the time, I apologize. I want it out yesterday, but it's server side stuff. So here, I'm exiting a trade. New trades getting in. You can see, again, the idea is risk management, lots of trial and error, things like that. Brian Mary, so yes, this is all available to premium members. The beta has most of this functionality, okay? The beta that's out right now has most of it, but it's missing this UI. There's a couple of other things that are not there yet. It doesn't have, like here, we can show you support. And I know what's going on here. And resistance and all sorts of stuff like that. So we're getting very, very close, but we want to make sure that as we give this to you, it's tight. So the key for us is just, your whole team here, Trade Ideas team, we are banging on this day in, day out, just continuing to bang on it. So, okay, notice this right here. I've talked to you guys before. WLTH. So got in, it got me out, but I'm going to get back into it. Okay, because this is the kind of trade that is really right up my alley. When you can catch a reversal, if you can catch them, you have to have tight stops, but if you can catch them, they're some of the most potent turnarounds. Turnarounds are the big payoffs. And if you look at this real quick here, and I'm going to put this on the daily. Notice right here, this is the picture in picture. Okay. So see this right here? One reversal. This right here, another reversal that started to go. And then of course, like, you know, as you get over here, I'm going to see if I can change this to month. Yeah, there's big moves right here, 22, and it was stuck. But really in January, it started to go. And this is what we hunt, you guys. This is what we hunt. And it's important to keep, your eyes open on these moves. I mean, think about it just from the bigger perspective, from 2 to 40, you're talking about generational wealth. Generational wealth. That's what our subscription is trying to find. There's a whole misunderstanding in people's minds about day trading, and you think like you always have to exit and stuff like that. And I tell you guys that I want to be in something like this, where, it can pull back to 30 and it doesn't matter, or even 20 to me and it doesn't matter because I'm in at 4. It can bounce around, and what if this thing splits and keeps going? Then I have like twice as many shares. This is what happened with Apple and with Dell Computer in the 90s, and with Yahoo and Qualcomm and Intel and many other names, where if you got into these trades at the right time and were positioned at the right time, you never had to exit. Okay? Never had to exit. And so here, what I'm doing here, this is just a little bit of trial and error. Let's go back to this daily, and every trade you get into, okay? Every trade you get into. Notice here, I had to do a little bit of work to get to here. And what if? And notice how I doubled down. Also, like, again, it's that blackjack play. Okay? I doubled down, but fortunately at the right time. And this is the potential that you're trying to do, but it's not always easy, is really what I'm saying. All right, Teddy, let me look at MU real quick. I mean, MU is just, that's a super strong trender. And the idea here is, I mean, you can really play it both ways, but this is almost like an AI Palantir type of move. You're talking about 263, 100 points in, 2 months. It has immense momentum. But I want to kind of, I really like this example, you guys, because this showcases to me some of the things that, like the tricks and why we do what we do. Okay, so for example, with Micron, something that's trading at $384. I mean, how many shares can an average person get? 10 shares is $3,000, 20 is $6,000. And with 20 shares, you're just, the amount of movement is like, if you look at this, 5%, right? 5% versus 94%. But with here too, you can load up on the shares. So Micron is very strong. I really like it. But I'm just saying, from a point of view of what you can actually get. That's why we focus on some of these smaller names, things like this. This one is like Lucid Diagnostics, right? I mean, the interesting thing is it went from 120 to 171 and really came back super hard. And here it is. And I'm actually, this is one of these ones that from a risk standpoint, this is what I would call a test trade. So now I'm just testing it out and my exit is right here. That's a smart move, in my opinion, because you're risking $47 for the potential of a continuation of this run. Okay, so just again, contemplate. Yeah, MUU. So we have a whole, just FYI, we have a whole channel for double ETFs, and one of the things that we're about to do, and I share this, I would share this with you. Whenever you're in stocks like this, Tesla, for example, you got notice if something's coming out with earnings in 5 days after the close, we show you resistance right around here. So exit position. So what we are going to show you the 2x ETFs right here at the top. Okay. So whenever you're in your popular stocks, whatever the 2x ETFs, we're going to show them to you. So again, notice this is asking you to interact. It's telling you, hey, right now you're not doing that great. What do you want to do? I'm going to say do nothing for now. But what it's asking me to is to have awareness of what's going on. Okay. And MUU is the 2x ETF, but even the 2x ETF for Micron's $175. And obviously, Ritman is showing you incredible opportunity, but you just have to apply a ton of capital. You can't compare the capital application where here you can buy 10 grand worth of this and make 10 grand in a day. It's a different game of percentages. The top percents are in the smaller names. Okay. So it was out of this one, went down, and I didn't re-enter. So one of the things, again, that we are working on is just there's going to be a whole different interface for this. That's not all. This is, again, more under the hood where you're seeing what's happening so that you understand where some of this stuff is coming from. But we're going to make it easier for you to navigate this and really figure out what it is that you want to trade. And that's stuff I'm the most excited about by far. This stuff is incredible, but we are the kind of team that where we show you, okay? We show you what's happening under the hood. And by the way, just so you know, like, let's say you want to know what this is. Let me see. Dang it, the tooltips don't. All right, I'm going to do something real quick here. I'm going to stop it. Okay. And I'm going to show you a couple of things. So notice that maximum number of positions to create. Number of symbols to create positions. Minimum. So you have tooltips on everything. So when we go to stops, when the price drops or increases, so you can get an idea. If you hover in the thing, you can get an idea of what each one of these things does. Okay. So see, like, that's the whole point is this brings in the opportunity cost. Oh yeah, absolutely. Start time, cutoff time. So you can be like, Whoops. So you can come in the morning, turn the money machine on again, if you're in the market before the open, and it will start here. And, you can, for example, you can even say, I don't want to be in anything else. Really, obviously, like for our demo here, in 9, but you can basically say something like, and save profile. Start time and entry. Okay. Again, just working on, 10 p.m. Sorry. Save profile. So now I'm starting 5 minutes after, and I'm not adding any more 10. So then I'm just managing positions. Okay. Or I go into, if you're in this mode, right? Auto add manual positions, you can basically you can enter and the money machine will do the trades for you. Like it'll manage them. So here I'm running now. So it's got a whole bunch of new stuff. And that GITS ended up working. Now I can bring, so notice how the stop, okay, is now a profit target. You see that? That did that automatically. That's a profit target. So this is my entry. I'm up 165, but I'm going to at least get 93. Absolutely awesome. Back testing a strategy. And what Oz is talking about is if you go to, for example, let me see where I have that window. So here you got big move catcher, right? And remember, this isn't the exact algo that we use for the AI, but just very similar. And the AI has multiple algos for signals. Again, I'm just giving you the flavor of it, but this is the technology that powers it. So for example, here we're going to say 640. $7.45. Okay. And timed exit. So remember what we talked about, right? That the best trades are usually about, in this case, the biggest move happens right around here. Okay. And so we're doing 55-minute test, simulate buy. So very few trades, but again, just kind of showcasing what you can do. I just totally, just giving you an example. All the optimizations where our AI does it. And, if you want to see how much data you can put in here, let me just show you something real quick. I'm going to duplicate this window and I'm going to switch the alert. So I'm going to configure this and say, instead of this, I'm going to say search, and I'm going to type in 30-minute. Okay. So 30-minute high, add alert. Okay, got rid of everything else. So this should be much more active. So let's look at a backtest strategy. And same thing, just contemplating the concept. 95. This is part of the learning process. Our software, the AI, goes through thousands of these iterations, and Os knows how to do this, and Pepe and many other very astute users of trade ideas understand what they can do here with this. But I'm just showcasing that this is obviously not what I would be trading, but I also know to avoid this. Okay. So to find something that works, okay, let's look at the Windows specific filters, let's go to 2. So I had 25. And let me do one more thing here. Just again, I'm just giving you an example. Min price of 1 and max price of 25. Just freak. And I'm going to call this tester, just so that I know what I'm doing. I hit OK. Okay, I'm going to right click and backtest strategy and hit simulate buy. Come on, girl. So as you guys know, because I'm running this version, there's always some. It always likes to mess with your favorite CEO during demos. That's just what it does. And I can tell right now it's running kind of slow. So let me see if I can do it one more time. Right click. Backtest strategy. Let's see if we can get it to work. Yeah, it's getting stuck at 73. Just unfortunate part of the real servers, the ones that you have access to. They finished all this stuff, but I can already tell. So in this case, I would most likely be looking to fade this particular type of thing specifically because of what I showed you earlier. And by the way, notice, so I got stopped out on my profit, but this thing started to go. And by the way, from 146 to 198, that's a pretty big move. Okay. It's trying to finish. Well, it's a lot of data, Oz, for sure. And but mine, I can tell. I know what it's doing. It's just that the test servers that I'm running on, they're just not designed for this specific thing that I'm doing. But I'm kind of showing you. So in this case, you would know, right, because of the way the curve is going, that this would probably be a fader. Let me try something else. Right click. So you can always do that, by the way. Backtest strategy and simulate sell. See? Okay. So 54% win rate. It ran through 745 trades. So again, you're saying that in order to find the stuff that's working on the long side, you would have to really isolate the specific traits, kind of like, which is, by the way, what this tech is doing that I'm not doing, is it isolates for this. There are other things involved in creating this type of technology. Okay. But you start with this. And by the way, like yesterday, it would have been a good day to buy it. But so just giving you the idea that the back testing is incredibly powerful. And Pepe, thank you for letting me know. I'll talk to the boys about that. We'll see if we can put a couple of pliers and a blowtorch on some of the servers and see if we can get that ball in motion. Absolutely. All right, you guys, it's the bottom of the hour. Today's summary was new interface for the money machine. Incredible signals on the AI today, yesterday, and obviously other ones that are working as well. We're a different type of firm. We don't have any venture capital. We're not C-suite. I show you guys my trading account so that you can see that I'm involved in the thing that I vend. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a person that utilizes our own technology to give my family the wealth that I would like for them to have. So I think, in my opinion, that's what you want from a vendor. So IQ, yeah, let me see what I can do here. New, okay. Market Explorer window. Show strategy. Trade wave. Okay, I see. There's only 5. I will have to add the 15-minute for them. Okay. So we have the 5, but by default, there is no. So let me show you what this looks like. Okay. Do nothing, do nothing. Right click, strategy selection, and there's lots of stuff here. So these are the trade wave. Let me put this on. So this happened at 55. That's this trade wave right here, the buy signal. Micron. That was 5 minutes ago. 387. So that was right here, but it's switched into a sell signal. Same thing with this one, I suspect. This is the NUAI one right here. But IQ, yeah, let me talk to the boys about seeing what we can do with the 15-minute one and how soon we could bring that up, and we'll get that going for you. So for MarketScope 360, are you talking about the website? Let me do one last thing here, you guys. I'm going to close up this. And I want to make sure you're aware of something. Okay, so this is our website. Okay, I'm going to go to my trade ideas. So these are on here by default. You've got them on the on the 15-minute, but you just can't see all of the signals as they happen. You just are notified to it when it takes place. So here, PAVM. And by the way, look at this, like how incredible some of these are. You know, that's like right here, 780, and you're going to 22. Sell signal right here. You're right here. So don't forget that when you have access to the web version, you are also seeing some incredible stuff. You know, if you can't for some reason download it, this works on the Mac. It all works out. And it actually even has some cooler tech that we don't have everywhere else. The 2 tickers. You can see what's going on. There's unusual options volume. So, all right, you guys, I am really grateful, very, very grateful for all of your support that you come and watch me give you these demos. We're very close to a big, big pivotal release. Please stand by. And Pepe, thank you for letting me know about the uh, back testing. I will do my best to resolve that, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And we will continue to innovate at breakneck speed. And I will see you next Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.